Do you guys remember when Basar was the worst Nat 5 in the entire game?
Pocket sand.
Well, those days are long gone, so today we're checking out Basar. We're gonna take a look at his kit, see where and how to use him, how to gear him, and see if he is worth it to you. Basar is a 5-star Earth Mage. His S1 is Sandwind. He attacks with a 50 up to 75% chance to transfer 1 debuff and also inflict a random debuff for 2 turns. His S2 is Hurricane. It attacks all enemies with a 60 up to 75% chance to land blind and decrease attack for 2 turns. His S3 is Sandstorm, and it is what makes him so freaking strong. It attacks all enemies, dispelling all buffs and inflicting unbuffable for 2 turns, then pushing the CR back by 30%. And what makes it even better is that if you soul burn this, it will ignore effect resistance. The pros and cons to Basar. His strength is that his S3 is so freaking good. He pretty much controlled an entire meta because of how strong his S3 was. With a soul burn, it will ignore resistance. But it is not only that made him so strong, it is because he is a mage, so he can hold his own Tagahals. It did not require much extra effort to be able to have his S3 ignore the resistance of the enemy. But his kit is also filled with debuffs, and again, he is a mage, so you could put Abyssal Crown on him with his S1 doing debuffs, his S2 being an AoE debuff, and his S3 being an AoE strip and debuff. He is a very strong control unit. Now, the weaknesses to Basar are obviously fire units because he does have a 50% chance of missing them, which will mess him up pretty bad. But other than that, some cleanses and CR pushes can counter his kit pretty nicely, and he's also a little harder to build because he does have very low base speed. Now, where do we use Basar? He doesn't work in any PvE content. You might be able to fit him in, but in general, he's no good. He's no good in PvE, man. But in PvP, he is very good. In Arena Offense, he is a great setup for a cleave. In Guild Wars, he is a great setup for a cleave. In World Arena, he is a great setup for a cleave. In World Arena, you can use him as more of a cleave. He is still a very good control unit, so you can definitely make use of him outside of cleaving. So how do we play Basar? As if you even had to ask, he's a very good first turn unit. His strip is very valuable in setting up for a cleave or setting up for even more debuffs to come after him. You can use him in a control comp or a cleave comp or even a normal comp depending on who you are using him with. He is not someone who can carry the team on his own. You do need to build a team around him or with him in it to be able to succeed. You want to be able to capitalize on his debuffs, on his strip. If you are not able to do that, then why do you have him there in the first place, right? And as a mage with so many debuffs in his kit, of course he's going to do very well against a team without an immunity and without a cleanser, because he's gonna stack so many debuffs on him, they're gonna be pretty freaking screwed. But when you are so strong, you do need some very strong counters, and he does have some, such as Hugh Fiend. She is specifically made just to counter him. But even, fire heroes in general are a pretty big threat. But you even have Champion Zeratul, G-Purgus, a Tywin, Emma Kawazu, and even now you can use an Elena on Doctor's Bag and that'll totally counter him. Now, how do we build Basar? This is probably the most common build. It is a first turn build. You put him on a speed hit set, make him super duper freaking fast. Your health, defense, and effectiveness will vary depending on what artifact you decide to bring with him. If you do bring a Tagahals, you will need no effectiveness because you can just soul burn his S3 and he is guaranteed to ignore the resistance. However, if you want to go with an Abyssal Crown or an Oath Key, then you're gonna have to have some effectiveness so that he can actually land his S3 and some other crap as well. But if you are not investing everything in effectiveness and speed, you could probably invest some into some tanky stats so that you can live longer. Now, the other build you can go with is a control build. You can throw him on a speed or revenge set, but definitely have immunity because he is not going to be moving as fast. I think this is a very fun build, which really catches people off guard because he is not moving first. So because you do not have as much speed, you can make him very tanky with some good effectiveness. In this build, you do not need to bring Tagahals, but you can if you want. But I would definitely recommend Abyssal Crown instead. Because you're going to be surviving longer and hitting more, the Abyssal Crown will end up being more useful in the long run. You can also bring a Ciri Wren for more debuffs or an Etika Scepter for the reset. You can also go with Warhorn if you just want more turns and to help out the rest of your team. Now, in the end, what are my thoughts on Basar? Is he worth the pull? I would say yes. Even though he did drop off a bit with the existence of Hugh Fiend, he is still very strong and very usable. You might not see him in the defense, but he is still very strong in the offense. He is still one of the best people to set up for a cleave. So if you want another fun first turn unit or you have the gear, then sure, pull him. But if you have other fast units you would rather use, like an F10A or a Cerise or something like that, a Flitica, a Broman, you can definitely use those as well. But what he does is still pretty different than what they can do. And now you may be curious why I am saying he is not worth the investment. He is, but the thing is that you don't need to invest a lot in him. I have been using Basar for a very long time and mine still has 0 molas in him. He does not need a single mola for him to do his job. If you want to use him in RTA for more purposes than just to set up for a cleave, then sure, give him some molas so that he can actually make use of his S2 and his S1. But if you are using him simply for the strip, he needs 0 molas, which is the beauty of it. All he needs is some pretty freaking fast gear. And now finally the husbando rating. Is he husbando? Heck yeah, dude. We looked at him, we analyzed him, and we all agreed he is a top-notch husbando. Not only is he super freaking rich, he's also pretty cool looking, especially in that dapper freaking skin. But looking past his immense wealth and his good looks, he is a very, very good person. He takes care of Rin. He is quite the daddy. And you can take that however you want. And as always, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below or join the Discord and we'll try to help you out. But I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please like and subscribe. Thank you for hanging out with us, and I'll see you guys next time, man. Bye.